Put simply, Wheatbelt NRM really is about leading positive change in our natural resource management areas. The Wheatbelt of Western Australia, as we know, is one of the most challenged in this regard. It's been cleared about 90% in the last 100 years. And so we have all the attendant problems like the rise of salinity, lack of vegetation, a lot of threatened species. And what we do is about trying to make that world better.
Well, what a year it's been. We have wrapped up the mixed farming project, the optimising fodder options. So the purpose of that project was to look at innovative ways that they could fill summer feed gap for their livestock and at the same time increase ground cover on their farms. It's been a 5-year endeavour, this project, and we've been working with a series of 7 farmers on demonstration farms, and we've been following their journeys. And I think that's one of the really exciting things that has been about this project, has been the fact that we've been able to work with these farmers over such a long period of time, and we've been able to see how their systems have changed. We've approached it in different ways on different properties. We've even incorporated some confinement feeding. We've put perennial pastures in instead of annuals. We've used fodder crops. We've used a bunch of different techniques and management strategies. And the farmers have really grown through this process, and they've wound up with plans that they'll be able to follow for the next 10, 15 years going forward, and they'll only be able to improve their productivity and animal health as a result. We've also, of course, along the way, as parts of many events and field walks and things like that, we've got to know another cohort of farmers that have been coming along the journey in a different way, less intensively, but they've been looking at how to plan their farms and how they can fill their feed gaps and improve their ground cover and wind erosion at the same time. And I think that's what I really get out of doing this work, is it's those relationships that you build, and it's watching these people's systems change and change for the better. It's exciting. A highlight in the last financial year was definitely Talking Soil Health that we held in York. It's usually held in March. Due to COVID, it was postponed to August, and it was bigger and better than it's ever been. We had over 200 people, and we had to close registrations at that point. The event was a tremendous success. We had speakers coming from all over Australia. The Soil Health Champion Awards that go along with Talking Soil Health are always an amazingly popular event, and the videos that are taken, the winners that happen all around the state, are played throughout the day and at the awards ceremony, and it's incredible to meet those farmers and for them to form a network. So we're very proud to have delivered a really successful Talking Soil Health with the assistance of some funding through the Future Drought Fund and through State NRM as well, which has been another great contributor to help us along with that objective. We've been mapping and gapping dung beetles. This is a personal favourite project of mine. I just love the dung beetles. What they do for soil health is really quite extraordinary. They bring carbon into the soils, they increase water infiltration, they're doing a host of different functions for soil health. So if you've got healthy dung beetles on your property, you are streets ahead on soil health before you've even lifted a finger. All you have to do is just modify your environment a little bit and make sure you're not using drenches at the wrong time on your livestock, and you too can have a beetle blanket. We've been mapping and gapping these beetles right across the region. So farmers across the Wheatbelt have been trapping for us, and we've been identifying what species they've got, and we've been looking for gaps that we can potentially fill. So going forward, we want to be able to breed up families of beetles that we can then move onto properties that have gaps that should have healthy beetle populations of those species, and release them and get those species going so that we can increase the distribution of multiple species across the whole 12 months of the year. Everyone here will remember the devastating fires that ravaged the Wickerton and Corrigin areas early last year. Those fires, as we know, created tremendous devastation over very large portions of land. Wheatbelt NRM has been given a project through the State NRM program in order to provide some assistance to farmers who have been burnt in those fires. what we're looking at doing is that many of them have lost very precious remnant vegetation. What we're trying to do with this funding is give farmers an opportunity to have a little bit of financial support to put biodiverse plantations back in and to be able to fence them off stock so that they can protect those remnants as they rejuvenate after fire. Another exciting project has been a saltbush carbon project, and this is about looking at whether or not it's feasible to create a methodology for the Australian government to look at carbon sequestration in saltbush. WA Wheatbelt has about half of Australia's salt-affected land, about 1 million hectares, and this is growing. We could see that if it was possible to use saltbush in order to sequester carbon in saline environments, potentially there could be a really strong benefit from mitigating salinity at the same time as farmers can potentially earn a diversified income through carbon sequestration. So we're working with Murdoch University, we're working with the FACEI Group and Corrigin Farm Improvement Group on that project, and we've been putting in the new plantings just this season that's just gone. What we're trying to do there is determine whether or not it's possible through different planting techniques and other management techniques to increase the level of carbon that these plants can sequester over time. Watch this space. That project's going to take a while to come to fruition, but it's an exciting one to be involved in. Partnerships are a really important part of the sustainable agriculture team at Wheatbelt NRM. It's not just partnering with farmers, which we certainly do a lot of, but it's also about partnering with researchers and partnering with other grower groups and other organisations to deliver a holistic approach to sustainable agriculture. Some of the partnerships that we've been involved in that have been really quite important over the last year has been our involvement with the Soil CRC, the Cooperative Research Centre. That's a national project, and we're actually involved in a national research project at the moment that's looking at biological indicators that can be used at the farm gate.
We also have a very strong Aboriginal component as well. We do native seed collection, and our Aboriginal rangers work with the community on country to make their wheat belt better. Here are some of the things that we've been doing this year.
The last year has been pretty busy for the crew with seed collecting and a replanting of those sites that we were able to collect seed on. It's been really busy but rewarding. We're in a really steady period at the moment, but we have done some planting for a carbon positive group and Anika and our Healthy Environments team. So our guys are able to collect seed and replant back in those sites, which is pretty significant for our people. We won the cemetery tender through the Shire against 2 other clients, so that was really rewarding for our crew. Work for that contract involves weed management, general maintenance. It's really rewarding in a sense because it's within the community eye and the public space, so to get some really positive feedback for Aboriginal people is really rewarding.
Hi, I'm Carla. I'm our Business Development Manager. I started with the organisation in January. Our business development initiative is about staying at the forefront with emerging trends and new opportunities. We are developing our Aboriginal Ranger workforce into a full environmental service, which is fantastic for helping people implement their projects and awesome for economic and cultural opportunities for our rangers. We are also staying at the forefront with carbon and natural capital accounting and all of the new era with environmental markets and what our community and industry need from that. With all the emerging opportunities, it's about going forward with integrity.
The last year has had us finishing off our regional land partnerships projects, that being the eucalypt woodlands of the West Australian Wheatbelt, Malleefowl and black cockatoos. We also finished our Clean Waterways project through the Department of Water and Environmental Regulation. After finishing that, we got awarded a second round of projects, so that's got us going through until mid next year. Through all of these projects, we have supported 140 on-ground projects working on revegetation, habitat augmentation through nest boxes, fencing to protect remnants, and also protecting waterways from sediment and nutrient enrichment. Through these projects, a big part of the work we do is also feral animal control. We have landholders that have completed over 2,500 hectares of fox, cat and rabbit control. We've also had landholders complete 29 kilometres of fencing to protect remnants and waterways. This year we also completed 50 hectares of re-veg for black cockatoo food and habitat. Landholders and our project staff have also installed 119 nest boxes, both for black cockatoos and other species that use eucalypt woodlands. One of our biggest highlights as a team is that we installed nest boxes last year and 2 of them were used within months of installation. We ended up having 2 cockatoo chicks fledged from nest boxes we installed, which was very exciting. We had a lot of interest in our Malleefowl project in this last 6 months. As part of that, we completed over 80 hectares of revegetation at one site, and we also had a landholder sign up to fence off over 1,200 hectares of bush. We really hope to build on that momentum and get more people engaged, especially in feral control, which is very important for the ongoing survival of the species. A really big part of us being able to achieve all of this work is all of the landholders that we work with. We wouldn't be able to get this done without them. All of the project work is on private tenure, and these people are doing it just because they care about the bush and they're trying to protect what assets that they have. This year alone, we've had 62 landholders come on board. That was through site visits to engage in our project. We also had over 300 people engaged through various workshops that we've conducted for black cockatoos as well as our clean waterways. Another really exciting part about our Clean Waterways project is that we've been able to get back into schools and do a lot more engagement with kids. They have so much interest, but it's also that's where the next generation of land carers are going to come from. We're really looking forward to see what projects we have coming next, and also the opportunity to work more closely with our ranger team for on-ground works as well as surveying and seed collection and the other kinds of activities that they're really interested in and that would be a great benefit to our projects. The great thing about having so many community members on board for new projects is our opportunity to get out into the field, really meet those people that are on ground doing the work and that are really enthused about it. They care about the environment as much as we do.
Well, that was an example of some of the projects we've done this year. One of the big things that we want to focus on is a legacy of community action. So what you saw was good, but we want the community to continue with these things, and that's really important for the future of the wheat belt. Thank you for attending.